Hey, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Mash and Drum Whiskey Wednesday night here on the Mash and Drum. I'm Jason C., and I just flew in from Orlando, and boy, are my arms tired. Figured I'd just give you that one. Actually, give me 1 second here. I think I had to reset the focus here. Give me 1 second. All right, that's better. So yeah, guys, I was unsure if I was gonna go live tonight, but I had a quick work trip into Orlando, Florida, and of course, getting home today, the flight was slightly delayed about 20-30 minutes. Got home, it landed around 7, then I had to get the car and then drive home, and then I literally set this live stream up in about 20 minutes, figuring, all right, I think we could do this. So here I am. Figured I'd just hang out with you guys tonight, have a nice little laid-back conversation, talk about some new bottles that are going to be coming out, crack up on some new ones that I haven't gotten a chance to get to because of Blendageddon and everything that happened last week. Plus, I have a new sample that I just got in the mail. We'll unbox that, see what that is. And yeah, if you guys want to do any comparisons, any blinds, we'll get into that too. So yeah, let's say hi to everybody here. Virginia Rose says, you were in Orlando and I was in Columbus. There you go, Virginia. All right, 96 Milli Man. Looks like some good picking tonight. Yep, John Farron having some of that Buffalo Turkey 15 that I won a few lives ago. Pretty tasty, Jason. I hope you're enjoying that, man. Adam Hess is here. What is going on? Truman, he's got his T-shirt and Mash and Drum Glen today. Good timing. Yeah, all those rewards have been going out to the legendary tier. So congrats. Glad you're enjoying it, man. Oh, man, let's go. No jet lag. Exactly, Trav. Mark S. is here. Virginia Rose. Ham Turkey is here. We got Tim Cornet. We got A-Brod. Russ L. Justin Jenkins. What is going on, buddy? We got Dustin Bocek is here. Joe the Sample Guy. Joey B. says, cheers, friends. Warren Smith is here. Old Forester 100 Black Label to start the night. That's a nice starter pour always. Isaac Camacho's here. What's going on, Isaac? Michael Speakerman, Dr. Sped, a bit of Woodford's Chocolate Whisper Redux in the Glen, chocolate-covered espresso bean. That's exactly what it is. Dr. Sped, thanks for chiming in tonight. Josh Fritz is here. We got HD. Just going to call him High Def. He's here. Will Tolliver is here. Let's see. That's High Def. We got Top Jimmy. What's going on, Top Jimmy? How you doing, Toby? Nice to see you, man. Cool running. Cheers, Jason. All you great whiskey folk in chat. Let's see. Andrew Bowes Wine Guy. Yeah, man, this guy's dedicated to Whiskey Wednesday. Yeah, I gotta always do. I feel bad if I miss it. Cheers, all. I'm out with the fam. I know what you mean, Jason. Maurizio Pastenes, thank you so much, man. Say hi to the family for me. Hope you guys are having a good night. Evening, Jason and all. James Morgan is here. Will Tolliver. Night Method is back in the house. What's going on, Night Method? Adam Hinson. What's going on, Flow Rider? Nice to see you, man. Hope you're doing well. Kenneth Clark is here. Let's have some fun tonight. Jeff Perkins, John Logalbo, Rich Flinchbaugh is here. Yo, what's going on, man? What else we got? Shaco Carlo is here. That's a cool emoji. Let's see. Connoisseur Cigar Eric is here. What is going on, my man? Nice to see you as always, dude. Josh Fritzy. Big Vic is in the house. What's going on, Big Vic? Get out your avocados. Big Vic is here. Joey B. Tim Romero. Hide your Amburana. Big Vic is here. That's pretty funny. James Morgan. Let's see. Yeah, Trav. Nathan Jurgensen is here. Still Austin. Cast Strength in the glass. Another great starter. Whiskey Nose in the house. Top Jimmy. Travis Robb. He's saying hi to everybody. And a bunch more coming in. Let me catch up to the chat here. So as I said, we'll be just tasting some cool bottles, some new bottles tonight, getting into some of the new 13th centuries that was sent to me by Paul over there, 13th Century. So I'm really excited to try those. Also, we're in the glass right now. I have Caleb's Crossing, which is that medallion. This is the new offering from David Jennings over at Rare Bird 101. So this particular bottle has an interesting combination of finishes with Pinot de Charente and also Armagnac casks. And I believe, let me see, the company's called Washington Lafayette, and David Jennings. They announced this actually back in March. I'm not sure if there are any of these left, but I love Armagnac finished whiskeys, and I always try to find a good one. I've had no luck finding one of my own that, when I go to pick barrels, I'm just like, man, can I actually get my hands on a good one? And it just seems to never happen. So figuring Rarebird's palate usually lines up with mine, so I was kind of interested in trying this one. So I grabbed it. It's a dual cask finished bourbon, as I mentioned, and it's also a straight rye whiskey. So it's finished bourbon and straight rye, finished in Pinot de Charente and Armagnac. So it's $150 for this bottle. So I figured I'd kind of go through the tasting notes here with you guys tonight, because like I said, I'm not sure if these are still hanging out at all, but I just wanted to taste through this with you guys, because I feel like, for $150, if people want to spend the money, they're going to want to know like exactly what this tastes like. So I figured I'd go through it with you a little bit, and we'll start with this. Let me go back to the live stream here. All right, perfect. What do you think of the Armagnac Finish Select Stock from Heaven Hill? Rob Drabinski, I thought it was pretty good. It wasn't as integrated as I want the Armagnac to be. I don't know, man. I feel like that damn Chateau de la Baude from Barson Bourbon Company several years ago just kind of ruined Armagnac finishes, because that was so good. It's just hard to find a good one. I mean, obviously you could kind of harken back to the older and even the newest Joseph Magnus cigar blends, which were, not only older oak, but also older whiskey, but also old Armagnac casks. So those are only really good. ADHD whiskey, Mash and Drum. I blind tasted the 2 final blend again in samples, and I have a winner. All right, ADHD, where did you land, buddy? Yeah, after like a week and a half, Matt finally got the samples. Oh my God, never again. Old Elk makes a good one. I gotta try it. Actually, I did try Old Elks. I just wasn't that crazy about it either. Again, it's probably just my palate. I just didn't know what the hell to. I don't know. He might have liked. You're the winner, but you're always the winner, says Todd Ritter. Yeah, he is. All right, Maddie, what do you got? Go USPS. Let's see. Is he going to message it to me? Let's see. Or is he going to be like, I like Jeff's? He might have liked Jeff's. I told you I was going back and forth on Jeff's and Durrell's, but can't wait for the Knob Creek cast strength to start showing up on the shelves. Yep, absolutely. Stephen Hawking's legs. After the box went to Puerto Rico, I tasted them, and sample E was the winner. Not particularly close. So A, B, C, D. So that was Durrell's. All right, glad you agree. Yep, that's Durrell's sample, man. So it was the E. All right, so I feel a little bit, better about naming Durrell the champion, because I did think it was a fantastic blend. So congrats again to Durrell. Blendageddon. Just to let you guys know, we raised in total $11,455 by the time everything was said and done. We had a few more donations come in after the fact. So now that I've kind of shut it down, I'm going to go through all the different names. With work and me traveling, I haven't gotten a chance to go through the names and, do the giveaways quite yet. So I will be doing that probably tomorrow, Friday, and into the weekend. And then I will select all the winners. But for all of you out there that donated and helped raise money for Nationwide Children's Hospital, again, I just want to thank you. It was an amazing night, as always. And we have a true winner. So thanks, guys. Pretty it. They had a ton of similar aspects to them, but E was just a heavy, busty bot in the most respect. Yeah, I agree. I think the texture was actually the best on E as well, Matt. So that's really what I felt about it. I think that's what kind of won it for me. Great job all around. Yeah, you're still saying if nobody got any notifications, I just haven't sent out anything yet. So still keep your fingers crossed in case you won one of the many bottles that were donated from myself and also a lot of the whiskey patrons. So appreciate that. Jay Henry makes a good Armagnac. I think I've had Jay Henry's and I actually dug that one. But that one makes sense because that is a Nancy Fraley brand. But Yeah. Cheers, Matt. I appreciate you chiming in, man. That's cool. I'm sure Darrell will feel a lot better about it, knowing you selected his as well, which is pretty cool. So, all right, let's get into this Caleb's Crossing a little bit. Let me know what you got in your glass tonight in the chat, and also make sure while you're hanging out, hit the like button if you can. And appreciate you guys hanging out with me tonight. If I'm a little bit off or a little bit, tired, it's been a long 2 days, and so yeah, taking off. I was literally in Orlando at 4:00 today and flew back home, and now I'm here. So, all right, let's dive into this one here. Travis Robeson has some 101. Russell's 10. So the nose on this, I love the nose here because it's I think from the store, I think David developed this with his dad in mind. I think that was the story because they enjoy cigars. So this was really kind of a good cigar pairing whiskey. At least I think so. I could be wrong on that, but I think that's where the story kind of stems from. But on the nose here, immediately you're met with strawberries, kind of those macerated strawberries that have been like stewing in sugar a little bit. Definitely some white grape, maybe some green grape. Well, that is white grape. Yeah. They call it white, but it's green. Old Elk Slow Cut for me. How is that, Whiskey Nose? How is the Old Elk Slow Cut? I'm curious about that one. But on the back end of this, there's also a very dark component. So it builds up into a almost leathery, kind of a that Armagnac-y, like funky oak that you get with an Armagnac sometimes. I also told David I get like waffle cone on here, like a toasted waffle cone that has a little bit of like a caramel drizzle on it. The nose is super inviting. You could unpack this nose for probably a good 10 to 15 minutes before you dive in. I think with the two finishes, the rye, the bourbon, there's just a lot going on. Because it does kind of culminate at the very back end of the nose here with a little bit of a leather kick. So, all right, guys, cheers. Thanks for hanging out with me tonight. I don't know if I mentioned it. The proof on this is 107. So it's right at 107. Nice little sweet spot there. Oh, there's Rare Bird. My dad isn't a cigar guy, but he loves French wine and brandy. Okay. I knew there was a connection with your dad. I just don't want to say exactly what it was. Yeah, it says born out of Dave's appreciation of American whiskey and his father's love of French wine and brandy. Yeah, there you go. That's what it was. It was slow proof. Oh yeah, that was the other tidbit in this. It's a single barrel of 95.5 rye that underwent a secondary maturation in first fill white Pinot de Chiron casks. So slow proofing was employed for 7 months to kind of give it that nice balance. So it gives it like this underlying intensity, but also sweetness that I think it has. And it's a really it's just a cool whiskey. There's no tricks or no gimmicks. It's just a really well developed finished whiskey. And the dual, you hear dual finish sometimes, it's like, is that going to be a little bit too much? But I do think like what we're getting here is very similar to what we've gotten from Foregate in the past, which is dual finishes done right, where it's not overpowering. It does just enough to add a complexity to it. However, this is a little bit just more delicate, which you can appreciate. So on the palate, you get a lot of fig raisin to me. I actually think it has a nice texture for 107. It's slightly buttery, which is good. But yeah, that toffee sugar, brown sugar note mixed with like the grapiness. I think just is really what wins me over. Now, even though it doesn't have like the longest finish in the world, being 107 proof, it does carry a really nice spice from the 95.5 rye. It just gives you a little hint of black pepper and leather on the back end, and it's just a really well done bourbon. It's nice, or whiskey, I should say. Oh, it is a bourbon. Okay. Yeah, the sneaky spice on the end of what kind of keeps me going back to it. I kind of dig it. I apologize to Fred after the super chat predictive text vomit fiasco. He laughed. Could you please add an old overhold cast rank to the bottle giveaway? Says Todd Ritter. Todd, you don't have to do that. I think he understood, man. Jason can pronounce Pinot de Chiron, but not strawberry. What did I say? Strawberry. Well, how do you want me to how do you want me to say it? Strawberry? Like, how do you want me to say it, Jay? I mean, yeah. Yeah, that's the bourbon. The 95.5 is a different expression. Okay. So it is two different expressions. Sorry. All right. That's right. There was a rye with this. This is just the bourbon. My God. Sorry, guys. I'm a little off my game here. So this is just the straight bourbon finished in Pinot de Chiron and Armagnac. So the sneaky spice is not from rye. It's actually just from, it just has some spice to it. There you go. Rare Bird, are there any of these left? Strawberry. Strawberry. Very sneaky, says Truman. Yeah, what is there? Are there any of these left, David? I tried this like 2 weeks ago when I got it, and I thought it was so good. I actually gave some to my mother too. My mom was a fan. Bottles are left at Bourbon Outfitter. Nice. Yeah, if you guys want to try one of these, it's Bourbon Outfitter. You could grab one. I did not tell David I was tasting this tonight live, so it's not like we have just so you know, this is all completely live, honest feedback I'm giving here. I'm not trying to sell any bottles for David, but it's a really good finished whiskey. If you like that 107 proof point and you like kind of sweeter, very fruit forward, but like hints of leather on that palate, a little bit of spice. This is one you could just kind of sip and enjoy. And I could see this being a really good cigar whiskey. Hoping I could test that theory pretty soon. So, hey, what's up, Durrell? Okay. Going to keep sipping on this for a little bit. Put that over here. So we got some other cool bottles to do tonight. So we have the Michter's just sent me, and I will, obviously I always tell you guys open and honestly. Michter's just sent me their newest barrel proof rye for 2025. So we'll taste that in a little bit. Yeah, Rare Bird, I think you did a great job on this one. It's good. I think a lot of people who try this or roll the dice on it will love it. So again, I think it's like $150. It's available on Bourbon Outfitter if you guys want to grab one. It's just a really good finished whiskey. Again, it's not going to punch you in the mouth. So if you're looking for something very proof heavy and you want like a blast of not only alcohol, but, huge flavor, that's not really this. Although it does bring big flavor, it's just a little bit more delicately introduced to your palate. It's not like a monster. But, not every whiskey has to be a monster. Yeah, I like this a lot. Oh, yeah, Durrell, I don't know. You'd be happy to know that Matt received the samples from Blendageddon, and he blind tasted the top two. And I don't know if ADHD Whiskey in the chat wants to tell Durrell the good news. All right. Really good stuff. That's just a great starter for the night. Not too heavy. Also, what we're going to do is we are going to put Dark Arts, two Dark Arts blends, one from its Bourbon Night and one from the Bourbon Junkies, head to head. So cool idea. Dark Arts excuse me. So Dark Arts, in partnership with both the Bourbon Junkies and its Bourbon Night, allowed them to kind of create their own blends using a Mizunara finished whiskey. Now, these Mizunara finished bourbons, they were finished with toasted Mizunara oak staves. and each of them have their own distinct blend. Now, what's kind of cool is that you can actually scan the QR code on the side of the bottle and find out exactly what is in the blend. So they sent these out to a few different channels, and I thought it was really interesting, a really cool concept. Basically, what we want to do is review it, taste it, see which one that I like more than the other. And I'm not really sure. When I opened the letter from Dark Arts, it didn't tell me like where you could get these. Like, are they available in stores in Kentucky? Like, where are these? Are they available on the website? ADHD, I know you got one. Do you know any of the? I know you got a pair of these. Do you know any of the release details where you could get these, or are they even still available? Are they all gone? I don't even remember. It was Durrell's. Never mind. Dark Arts wins best bottle toppers. Yeah. Am I doing something wrong? I don't see Caleb's Crossing on Bourbon Outfitter. It says Hap Jeepo whiskey. I'm sure Rare Bird can shoot you the link. Wow, you're getting close to that 100K. Yeah, it's the channel's been growing pretty quickly. We're at 97.9. Just and actually that's already pretty close to 98,000 the last time I checked. So we are on it, and 2,000 more subs. We'll have a big celebration. It's going to be an amazing night. I'm going to pop some legendary bottles that I have not opened yet, that I'm waiting to open just for the occasion. So that'll be a fun night. The rye is sold out, says Whiskey Nose. Keep them coming, brother. Yeah, the rye is sold out, but just got the Armagnac finished. Looking forward to it. Rare Bird 101. There you go. Am I doing okay? Dark Arts just jumped the shark into the good times number of finishes, but maybe it's good. I think they're doing something a little bit different, Aaron C. I understand what you're going from with the different finishes, but I think Dark Arts is doing it a little bit more thoughtfully, rather than all these different flavored whiskeys. But also, what I like Dark Arts, what they're doing is not only doing the finishes, but they're doing some really unique blends. So I think you just have to keep tasting them and seeing what you like, man. But let's do, I think the bottle cam is up and running. Yeah, there you go. So this is a close-up of it. So you can see the bottle is really cool. Love the Dark Arts. And as somebody said, the bottle topper is pretty legit on these bottles. It's pretty cool. And here, is it this side? Yeah, here's where you could see the custom blend details. So this is the Bourbon Junkies bottle. So there you go. Bourbon Junkies custom blend. So we'll take a look at it, and I'm gonna pour both of these, and we're gonna see which ones, which blend I prefer. See who takes it. But first, I really want to get into this Michter's. So let's get into this one. We what feels like 800 different single barrel picks here in Arizona. Aaron C. Of the Dark Arts, Aaron, or the Good Times? Macaulay Man really knows what he's doing. Yeah, with Dark Arts. Yeah, bonding over bourbon. I agree. Macaulay's got a great palate. I think he's got a great mind for whiskey. He just wants to make some unique things. So, Top Jimmy with the 10-month gifted. Thank you so much, man. Appreciate that. Guys, if anybody in the oh no, he just did a re-up. Top Jimmy member for 10 months. He just did a 10-month re-up. Thank you so much, Top Jimmy. You're the man. Thank you so much, dude. Appreciate the support. Bourbon Sane back in the house. Chris is back. That's right, Chris. We're still doing it. Chris, I'm gonna have to get you on the channel here again. I miss you. We have to get you back on the channel and talk some whiskey, and that'll be fun. I don't know if you're doing actual video content anymore, but let me know. Or I think you are. Let's see. Michter's has remained a craft distillery and isn't trying to be bigger, means no employees laid off and a demand for the product, says Maureen Franchi. Ginger Snaps is on there too. Wilderness Trail single barrel rye. Man, you weren't kidding about this Fox and Odin double oaked. It's delicious, man. Thanks for the review. Yeah, it's been kind of my go-to double oaked rye. I'm sorry, my go-to double oaked bourbon. My go-to double oaked rye has honestly been the Pursuit United ones. The picks have been delicious. So I really enjoy that one. Thoughts on the rare character weeded bourbon if you've had one. Was the special release a weeded bourbon? I don't remember the ones with the camel on it. If that was it, I didn't mind it too much. I actually I enjoyed it. Will the 2025 Michter's Rye top last year's? I don't know. I'll pull out last year's and we'll do a comparison. They're pretty. I got to say the Michter's barrel strength ryes are pretty consistent. Just some years they're more minty than others. So we'll see if this one leans more towards sweet or more towards minty. So we'll go into there. Hate the wax and pulls on rare character. Yeah, it's a lot of wax on those. Bourbon saying, I miss you too, brother. Been a long time. Yes, I'm branching back into video content. I put one out today talking about the KC21. Wrote a piece about it. I miss the bourbon world too much. Well, we're glad to have you back, man. And I can't wait to see what you have going on. We are going to talk about the Knob Creek 21 year. A lot of polarizing. It's a polarizing release that people are seeing. If anybody hasn't seen this yet, on the TTB, this dropped. So we could get into this now a little bit. This is the Knob Creek 21 year, aged 21 years. Now, the thing with this, and some people do not like the fact that it's, again, bottled at only 100 proof. Now, when you're talking about aged 21 years, this is just, again, what did I say at the end of last year? We're going to be seeing a lot more age-stated whiskeys, and Knob Creek is like, or I should say Jim Beam, they're like, yeah, this is what we're going to do. We're going to bring you a 21 year aged bourbon. Now, here's the thing with this. The kind of both sides of the fence that I've been seeing with people either talking about or they're either complaining about the proof or they're complaining about that it's going to be too old. It's not going to taste good because it's 21 years. And I think, yes, in theory, that is a viable theory. I mean, generally, when you get to 12, 13, 14, even 15, stuff could get over-oaked. Now, the Knob Creek 12 year is, I still think, probably one of their best releases. The 15, we've talked about this relentlessly. The 15 that I had was terrible. The 18, I enjoyed. I enjoyed the 18 more than the 15, and that was 3 years older than the 15. But I don't know. I guess there was some batch variation with the 15. Some people had good ones. Mine was terrible. It was like licking a tree. But the Knob Creek 18 I had was actually pretty good. So, and even the batch 2s that came out were supposedly even better. Now, 21 year at 100 proof. I'm guessing the price for that one is probably going to be $200 plus. If you're just going by it, Jim Beam usually will kind of do the old, $10 per year ish, but it seems like they've been eclipsing that a little bit, whereas they're going a little bit above that price point at $10 a year. So I'm guessing this thing is going to probably be, well, if you factor in Old Grandad 16, which was also 100 proof, and that was a $200 bottle, 220, something like that. I would imagine Knob Creek 21 is probably going to be 225 to 250. I would think, but I would not be surprised if it's even 300. I hope it's not 300, but if it was, it wouldn't surprise me either, especially, the way bourbon pricing has still been kind of steadily increasing a little bit for a lot of the new releases, while we've been seeing a lot of the ones that have been sitting on shelves going on sale. This is like dating a chick who is 6'6" and then complaining about her height. Yeah. And by the way, if nobody saw Matt's video on the Knob Creek 12 year, it was hilarious. So you guys can watch that. Jason, I love your thoughts on this. Did Jim Beam overestimate demand during COVID and now putting out a bunch of older stuff before it turns? I don't think it was overestimating demand. I don't think it's just a Jim Beam problem. I think a lot of distilleries did. I don't think a lot of the distillers thought it was going to come to such a slowdown, in the last year or so. So all these expansions happening, more whiskey being barreled more than ever. There's I think someone did the math. There's like 5 or 6 barrels per person now, in Kentucky. So if you do the math, that's how many barrels are just sitting in rick houses all across Kentucky, which is nuts when you think about it. And it's just one of those things where we're going to see age-stated whiskeys. We're going to see a lot more coming out. And this is, Jim Beam always has had the stocks to do this. So it doesn't surprise me we're getting a 21 year. It doesn't. And look, just because, yeah, could it be over oaked? Like I said, absolutely. It doesn't mean it's going to be bad. You never know. What if the 21 year, they proved it down to 100? It brought out all these maybe dark fruit notes. I always say that Jim Beam, when you have a Knob Creek cast strength or a Knob Creek 120 proof, like a store pick or something, and you get that Jim Beam nuttiness with like some dark, rich fruit, those are the ones you want to sip on because they're just so good. What if the 21 has that? Then people, won't complain about it. Could it, like I said, could it be too oaky? Yes, but we're going to keep seeing more of these age-stated whiskeys come out. I think Jim Beam has the stocks. They just keep coming out with more and more extensions, line extensions for brands. I think they have just a shit ton of whiskey, and they're just going to keep coming out with stuff. So, but here's the flip side. You'll for sure be able to grab the 21 year in Ohio. There won't be much resale value on it after initial drop, and it will be a lot of money. I tend to agree with that, John. Yeah, 18 is about 190, so I would think this one's definitely going to be a little bit higher. But I still think the Knob Creek 12 years is the Knob Creek 12 year cast strength. That's honestly the best Knob Creek release that they've done in a long time. It's just so effing good, and they only released it once. And I've been begging that they bring that back, but it seems like they're leaning more into these age statements. So we'll see what happens. I'm definitely looking forward to trying it. Once it drops, I'll definitely be doing a review on it. I'm interested. It's, you don't see age statements that much. I mean, you're getting into Pappy territory. You're getting into these high-end bourbon territory. And it's interesting to me, too, on the flip side, I don't feel like Knob Creek or Jim Beam, when they release a high age-stated bottle, it doesn't get as much, what's the word, hype, maybe? I feel like people are like, meh, another age-stated, Jim Beam product, because they do it so often. So I think that's also an interesting, it's just an interesting perspective that people have against Jim Beam. I don't know. I think this could be a fantastic release. We'll see what happens. It could taste like pure oak. Who knows? But I don't think, as any whiskey, you shouldn't judge it before you get it or taste it, except Traveler. Oh man. They've been selling us trash. Time to get the good stuff. Matt's video on 15 versus 18 and do not much was hilarious. Yeah, it's awesome. Maybe Sazerac will learn. Do not buy, do not much. I don't know what John's saying. Based on what I've seen and heard, the JB issue is more of a disappointment from the core fan base rather than a product estimation problem. Yeah. I think Jim Beam has put out more mediocre releases than they have like really good ones recently. So it's Master Drum. Any recommendations on where I can grab a Western Whiskey Milestone Edition 2? Trying to get one for my mom who recovered from breast cancer before I go on vacation and visit. Jong Hun Lee, I don't know where to get one of those, dude. I don't know where you live. So I would just try to look online, man. Instead of hunting from store to store, you might have to pay up for it, but that's what you might have to do. I would try to find one online. I mean, they're already pretty pricey, but that might be the only way to go. KC released a 20-year pick for a medicinal whiskey charity last year. It was delicious, but borderline over oaked. Oh, there's Top Jimmy. Now he gifted Mash and Drum 10 Mash and Drum memberships. Guys, if you just became a member of the chat and the channel, please thank Top Jimmy. Sorry if that's been long overdue. Same thing happened in the craft beer world. Hundreds of breweries opened right before during COVID. Sales were booming, and then life resumed, and most of them closed. Yeah, like I said, it's a market correction. It's gonna happen. We talked about this with Fred last week. It's not that people have stopped drinking whiskey. I think the initial excitement, especially during COVID, of people getting into the hobby has calmed down a bit. And I think a lot of those folks that were just buying and buying and buying have figured out what they like, and they're just kind of done with the chase and they're moving on to the next thing. Like I said, whether it be gummies or alcoholless drinks or oh wow, that smells really good. All right, let me grab the 24 and we'll do a quick comparison here. If I can find it. It's the 21, 24. All right. I think I mentioned this last week, but you guys would be proud of me. I cleaned out the whiskey room. I have cool bottles. I have bottles I found and didn't even remember I had. You know, I still have the Elmer T. Lee 100-year tribute just sitting on the shelf over there. Completely forgot I even had that bottle. It's just sitting there right there looking at me. It's like, hey, remember me? That was a cool story when I got that bottle. Market correction hitting American single malt, hard effing core. Yeah, but Aaron, I don't know if the market correction is really hitting American single malt. I just think American single malt hasn't really gotten its feet wet yet across the board. There, like I said, there are still, I hate to keep repeating myself, but Cedar Ridge and McCarthy's and some of these places doing amazing things with American single malt. Any single malt I've really had in Kentucky hasn't really caught up to it yet. So I think to get really good American single malt, you have to seek outside of Kentucky. I don't think there's anyone in Kentucky that is making really good American single malt from soup to nuts, at least not yet. So, and I think it's just giving American single malt a bad name, unfortunately. Yeah, Cedar Ridge is a bourbon distillery, though, but they make incredible single malt. And I could argue that their American single malt is better than their bourbon. So if you find someone that's making really special American single malt, that's what you want to follow. Yeah, it's a little bit too niche at the moment, but when you find a good one and you find someone that's making it well, that's what you got to do. Most American single malts aren't very good, at least the ones released from legacy distilleries. Yeah, James, and I think that's the problem. It has given American single malt kind of a shitty name. It's just like nobody wants it in Kentucky. They're not passing over bourbon to drink American single malt. But I'm telling you, if you try some of these really good American single malts that are out there, even from Westward, the Milestone, they're incredible. But there's just not enough of it that's accessible around everywhere. The sock problem is real. ASM specific companies are hurting. See Westward. Yeah, they are. Westward, as you know, I think Westward just had a hard time like trying to figure out exactly what that market looked like. So ASMs haven't really come down in pricing with all these tariffs. You might start looking at other options. Well, yeah, I mean, if the tariffs, really start coming to fruition here, the Scotch prices shoot up, maybe people will look for an American single malt. This could be a better opportunity, but you have to have quality American single malt on the shelf in order for it to change over a little bit. Oh yeah, the 10-year walleye run. Yep. So do you feel that those of us who started collecting in 2019 and who are not going anywhere will get more opportunities to obtain hard to find bottles? Will tariffs also impact the availability? I think tariffs will impact some availability, but remember, tariffs are really affecting the brands that import and export. And there's not a ton of brands that do that. There's a good amount of them, and they're the big brands. You're talking about Jack Daniels, you're talking about Maker's Mark, Brown-Forman. So there are big brands that do that. Now, if they stop exporting or they export less, that means there'll be more whiskey here. Now, I don't know if that means we'll get more of the good stuff, but you got to remember, most of the limited releases that we get here are usually just for the United States. There's a specific brand and core brand loyalty out there across the pond, whether it be England, Japan, Australia, different formulations, different bottles, different blends for those different countries. So, I mean, because what did we just see with Wild Turkey? Wild Turkey had an 8-year export, and now it's coming back here to the United States, or it is back here in the United States, which I think is really cool. But at the same time, most of the brands that it's going to affect are usually the big boys. Will they be able to kind of tread water? For sure. But I don't think it means it's going to affect or give opportunities for harder to find bottles, because a lot of the harder to find bottles and the special releases are generally US only anyway. So you'll still have to fight with price gouging a little bit and probably the flippers still. I still think the flippers aren't going anywhere. But what it could help, though, is maybe bringing down some of the price gouging. If there's less inventory because of the import, export, and the tariffs, they're not getting as much scotch. Maybe they lower the prices a little bit to help move some more inventory. But some people could look at the flip side. I'm getting less. I'm selling less. I'm going to raise the prices. So I still think there's a lot to unpack there. You could send that Elmer T meeting. I'll make a video for to watch. Got to feel good cleaning out the bourbon room. Yeah, Nick, it was pretty good. But Heaven Hills malt whiskey is great. Mixed mash, but I could see it breaking through the ASM market. Yeah, but remember, Kyle, it's still not a standard American single malt. It's a malt whiskey. I understand it's different. I understand what you're saying, and I do think it does. It can bring people to that side, which I do think is cool. But again, like after you have the Heaven Hill, like where else do you go? And it's not being a strict American single malt. But yeah, no, maybe people don't care. Agree, Jason. The Cedar is single malt 100% better than the bourbon. SLB shouted you out the other day. Really, Brian? For what? That's pretty cool. I didn't see that. I'm sipping only single malts tonight. Westbird whiskey. Oh, Del Bach is great. Cedar Ridge, so freaking good, says Roger Reese. Balcones has gone all in on ASM, which is annoying because all their limited bourbons are amazing. Says Aaron C. Yeah. But yeah, what they do best is the single malt for sure. You can't find Westward in Ohio at all anymore. I love the Pinot Noir finish. That bottle's a fruit bomb. I agree. Yeah, that's all gone now. Really like the McCarthy's Pewter single malt. Thing is, it's not any better than entry level Isla Scotch. Yeah, Drew P, that's true. And they do use malt they use peated malt, I believe, from Isla to make their American single malt. I can't remember I don't know if they're still doing that or if they're actually doing it their own now. Let me go back down here. With too much shelf stock not being able to be exported and the sales volume gap increasing between premium and shelf releases, it only makes sense that we would double down on LEs. Yeah, I would agree. I think we're still going to see more LEs. I just wish they would do less LEs. That's all I'm saying. All right. Enough chatting. Let's get into these whiskeys here. All right. So we have the 2024 Michter's limited release. This comes in at 110 proof on the dot. And the 125, the 2025 release, just beating it by 0.2, 110.2 proof. So let's see if we get any differences here. So pretty soon, I recently selected me and my great pick team, some of whom are in. SLB said something about trusting your palate. Not sure what that was about. Appreciate you. That's awesome, man. Oh man. What was I going to say? That was funny. Oh my God, I totally lost train of thought. Let me go back here. Oh yeah. We did a Cedar Ridge quintessential pick, which is named after Murphy Quint, and it's a combination of ex-bourbon and Amontillado, which is a type of sherry finish on the American single malt, and it's freaking unbelievably good. So when we're getting close to that releasing, Quint is going to come on the channel, and he's going to talk all things American single malt, talk a little bit more about the category, where he thinks it's going. Should be a really, really fun night. So that's something to look forward to. Yeah, too many LEs are hard to keep up with, both hunting and expense. I totally agree. And there's more coming out, and we'll go through some more labels here in a little bit. There's more stuff coming out. Does not stop. Kurt mentioned trusting your palate with the Booker's release you just did. He doesn't like Booker's, but said if you gave it a good review, he would be picking it up. Oh, that was nice of him. Yeah, the latest Booker's batch, Barry's batch, I think it's an above average batch of Booker's, but it's very spicy. There's a little hint of chili pepper in it to me, which I thought was kind of interesting. It still has that Booker's nutty profile. It still has, your typical caramel oak center cut type flavors, but it's a spicy meatball, man. There's some savory flavors in there, some chili pepper. Well, not chili. I think I said it was crushed red pepper. More of a crushed red pepper where it's just like heat and spice that just sit on the back of your palate. I just think that's kind of different for Bookers. The Bookers from the last year, most of them were leaning towards sweet. So they were more, they had that peanuttiness, but they were going more towards like a sweet, almost sweet tea vibe. But I think that the Barry's batch brings you back to that really kicked up spice punch that some Bookers has. And it was kind of refreshing to kind of taste that again. It was kind of good. So, by the way, I have so many Bookers bottles, and I have all these Bookers boxes sitting here on the floor. I might make a video about I'm going to make like a Bookers Jenga game. I'm going to stack them all and pull the boxes and see who wins. Might be fun. Love Bookers, but they can kiss my ass with their patches. Doesn't sound like you like Bookers, Brooklyn 25. I wish legacy distillers would focus more on shelf-stable bottles around the 80, something elevated but not limited release and price gouging. For sure. You should do a Booker's blend. Yeah. The Mash and Drum. Kurt has praised you several times over the years for respecting your palate. That's really nice of him, man. I loved having those guys on when they were on for Blendageddon. That was so cool. He's a great dude, man. All right. So now, obviously, this bottle has had some air out of it, and it's been open for, probably about a year. But I got to tell you, the noses, I'm not going to say they're widely different, but I am going to say they're pretty different. This is what I was hoping. The 25, while it's a little bit minty, has so much brown sugar in it. It is so sweet on the nose. We'll see if it tastes that way. But the 24 has more of like that mojito vibe in it, where it's like mint, sugar, clove for sure, toffee, definitely some amped up baking spices here. Get rid of the Booker's box and lower the price to $70. Yeah, a lot of people say that, but listen, you guys got to remember, Booker told Fred his son, don't let anyone mess with my Booker. So if you think Fred is going to abandon the box or change anything with Bookers after his dad told him not to, I don't think that's happening. Yeah, oh man, it's like brown sugar coated mint leaves with clove, spice, caramel. It's just such a good rye. This is a Kentucky rye if there ever was one, man. It's so good. The box is what sells that boring bottle. I don't know. I might do a video and just like make a Booker's Jenga. This might be, this is the video that might get me to 100,000 subs, everybody. All right, let's go to the 2025. How does Baker's taste these days? Haven't bought one in about 4 years. So when Baker's first did the re-wrap or the rebrand of their bottles, I should say, I think that when we were getting, now the age statement on the bottle says 7, but you were finding bottles out there that were 8 and 9 years old. And I think people were really digging it. I think the problem that Baker's has is the price. Again, it's just Jim Beam being you have some variants of their whiskeys that are just such good values. And then you have others that just kind of make you scratch your head. Like Baker's being a $65, $70 bottle, being 7 years old at 107 proof. Some people are like, it's a little bit too much. Why am I going to pay that? I could get Knob Creek 9-year at 100 proof for like $35. And there's something to be said for that. You can get Knob Creek 12-year for about $60, $65, which is, around the same price, maybe even a little less than Baker's in some areas. So I think Baker's isn't a quality of whiskey problem. I think the problem with Baker's is the price. I think it's good. It's good stuff, but it has a price problem. Yep. KC12, $62. Keith Stepanski. That's exactly what it is. It's a price problem. Man, so the 25 Michters is I'm actually picking up some dark fruit vibes in here. This thing is selling me right now. Dude, I'm picking up raspberry in here. Where the hell is that coming from? Brooklyn, I got problems too. You got a pricing problem, Brooklyn? 2025 spicier than 2024. Blackbird. Oh, what's up, Jason and Brandy? Yeah, this is the 25 that I'm having right now. And right now on the nose, it's coming off sweeter and more dark fruity than the 24. So let's try it. Yeah, this is sweeter. That's good. Oh man. It's like this combination of molasses, chocolate. Oh my god, that's so good. This kind of tastes like my Michter's bottle that I is it up there? Hold on a second. So I did a bottle your own like years ago, and at the time, this was the highest proof rye that they ever had bottled, or it was in the fill your own bottle, and it was a pretty high proof for a Michter's rye. This came in at 115.2 proof, which at the time, like I said, was a pretty substantially high proof rye from Michter's. We just got lucky to be there that day and was able to grab that. It's giving me shades of this bottling, which I loved. So I'm curious if how similar they are here. I just realized that Knob Creek releasing a 21 year means we could have had 14 to 15 year store picks for the last few years now. Well, that's the thing, Sean. Now you see where all those barrels went. They're going into all these higher age releases. Well, that's a little bit much. I want to save some of that. That might be the first time you've seen me pour stuff back in the bottle. I usually just let it be. Okay. All right. So the barrel strength that I have here is actually more clove forward still. But that chocolate is there, which is very similar to the 25. The 25 has such a sweetness. That rye grain is starting to punch through here on the Michters, the 25 as well. Let me get a little more in the glass. As this opens up, the rye grain is kind of pushing through here. So it's giving you a little bit of like a floral component with the rye, but the florality of it mixed with the chocolate, it's kind of nice. For the near future, I will try to snag the yearly Booker's blend that was the reserve this year. It is pretty good. Yeah, unfortunately, the Booker's Reserve this year is going to be finished in tequila barrels. So I'm not really sure what that's going to look like. 25 barrel strength over the 24 10-year rye. Oh my God, Albert Maloney, you guys really want me to open some stuff? We could test that too. Because the Michter's 10-year 24 was my rye of the year. I love that bottle. I got to tell you, the 25 Michter's barrel strength is really good. There's just seems to be an extra layer of something to it. Whether it be the molasses, the chocolate, there's a richness to it that I'm not quite getting in the 24. Yeah, the 24 is a little bit brighter. Now I'm getting a citrusy note in the 24 coming off of the 25. The 25 has a depth and a richness to it that just makes it more interesting. That's really good. This is the thing with Michters, though, man. It's like their stuff is so good, but it's hard to get sometimes. But normally I like spicy ryes. but I know what Michter's, what their profile, what they're going for. So if I'm going to taste like the quintessential Michter's profile, I'm going all in. I want it, the sweeter the better. Yeah, it's sweet. Chocolate. Definitely a little nice little oak punch. I wonder how old this is. I'm telling you though, I am picking up a little bit of there's like a tartness or a sharpness to it. Maybe like balsamic vinegar a little bit, like an aged balsamic in there as well. This one is actually really layered. That's good. All right, yeah, definitely like it over the 24. And I think I kind of like it over the this bottle your own one we did. The bottle your own one is a nice high proof, but this is just chocolate and clove all day long. Yep. All right, I'll grab the 10-year because you guys are forcing me. Is this it? Yep, right here. See what happens when you clean your whiskey room and you can find things? Is this the? Let me just make sure this is the 24. Okay, it is. Thank goodness. All right, let's see how this stacks up to 24. Now, obviously, the 24, the 10 years, a lower proof, but we'll see where we go with this. Why would Beam do tequila? They had to done that before, realizing the whiskey community does not like tequila finish. I don't know, man. I do not know why they went tequila. However, tequila is it's a very, very popular spirit these days. But I think what folks are missing is that people that love bourbon and drink bourbon don't want to drink tequila for the most part, and vice versa. I don't think I've ever met a huge tequila fan that wants to drink bourbon. So is Jim's Beams is Jim Beam's play here to try to convert tequila drinkers into bourbon? That could be it. It could just be a thing to get people to the other side. Or are they just trying to please both sides? I don't think that's really going to happen either. So it's like lasagna and Skittles. Not bad things, just not mixed. If I want to drink tequila, I drink tequila on its own and not finished bourbon. Yeah, I just don't think it works. Oh, man. God, the barrel strength rye for 25 is so incredibly sweet. That being said, yeah, there's good tequilas out there. Wait, what is Jim Beam doing? Terrence McDermott, the Booker's Reserve this year is actually a tequila finish. That's what's happening. God, that 10-year is so good. So the 10-year obviously is more delicate, comes in with a little bit of a lower proof. Well, a lot of a lower proof at only, 92, 93, if memory serves. 92, 92.4. So much lower proof than what we're getting here at 110. So I think a lot of people do prefer the barrel strength over the 10-year, and I totally understand why with that proof punch. However, I do think the Michter's 10-year has more of the oak and the layers of flavor that the barrel strength doesn't have. However, this year, the barrel strength. Yeah, here's the interesting thing. When you drink something with that type of age on it, and then you go back to the barrel strength, you could taste a little bit that the barrel strength is definitely younger. But I think it's those extra dark layers that it has this year that actually save it a little bit. Like last year, I definitely liked the 10-year over that Michter's barrel strength, that 24. It was an easy winner for me there. But the 25 this year, even though it comes off a little bit more on the younger side when you're going back and forth, I do think that extra level of sweetness it has this year could put it over the edge. It's so good. Oh my God. It is straight up candy. It is rye candy in a glass. Dude, I'll have to do a full review on this because it's too good. I got to see how this even opens up. Once it gets to that shoulder, you'll see a review for this soon. Oh my goodness. That's good. All right. I think we did all the Michters. Is it better than this one? Is it better than that one? All I'll say is that if you have a chance to get to Michter's at some point, and when they do their bottle drops, if you happen to get a 25 Michter's barrel strength rye, if that comes up, do not hesitate to pick one up because it's really good this year. Did you skip the 10-year bourbon this year, Jason, or do you just haven't seen it yet? I know last year's wasn't raved as much to 23. Yeah, I haven't seen it yet, Christian, so I don't know yet. Beam served up Distiller's Share Asian and Worcestershire barrel at the November Kitchen. That one was hard to drink. Yeah, that's too much clove. Too much clove. I remember Redemption doing tequila, Sagamore, now Blood Oath, and Beam this year. Come on, yeah. I'm telling you, this is what's happening because tequila is the trendy spirit. And I think a lot of the distillers are seeing this as an opportunity to bring people over to one side or the other. I just don't think bourbon and tequila mix as well. I think if they use a tequila that doesn't have like a lot of yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know enough about tequila to be like, yeah, I should use this tequila versus this tequila. I know the tequilas that are aged in Buffalo Trace barrels or Jim Beam barrels, those tend to be pretty popular. But as far as going the other way, where a bourbon is finished in a tequila barrel, I can't think of one that I've tasted that was like done really well. And now we're going to see more of it. I think, didn't I predict tequila was going to be the big finish this year? I think I did. If I did, then it's starting to come true a little bit, and I'm not sure if I'm happy about that. Booker's finished in Fortaleza barrels. Bourbon and tequila do not mix. I've personally done the science. Rye works much better. Sagamore tequila is decent. Actually, Albert, yeah, that's actually a really good point. The Sagamore tequila sample that I had wasn't awful. Maybe it is a thing where rye does better. I think rye generally does better with finishes. So, Todd Ritter says, I like the Worcestershire Scotch finish, different and fun. Okay. Rewind the tape. Yeah, that's good. But you know what? The 10-year on the nose, I actually still like better. But I actually might like the 25 better on the palate. I'm going to blend these real quick. Blend again is not over. I'm going to see if we add a little bit of that age to that sweetness. Oh, we might have done something here. This might work. I'm making a bottle of that shit. Oh my God. It's still going. See, amazing things happen when you just can blend a young whiskey and an older whiskey. Oh my God. I'm going to just blend. That is so good. The Michter's 10-year with a little bit of the 25 barrel strength rye. Holy shit. Oh yeah, John, I made plenty of blends I hate. Especially at the end of videos when I do the triple base, quadruple base, and I blend them. I think maybe one or two have worked out. They're usually pretty nasty. The samples ever find that? Yeah, Matt got the samples and he agreed. E was the winner, which was Durrell. So, Mild Hill Whiskey Lodge is here. I'm making a bottle of that shit. This is how Jason came up with the idea for blending Cannon. Drum Keys new blend, JG, man. If I could get my hands on these barrels, man, that would be the move. All right. So I'm gonna get these two poured. It's Bourbon Night versus Bourbon Junkies, and then we're gonna go through. We'll go through some news stories here. A lot going on in the world. We already talked about the Knob Creek. But we will go through some of the other labels that popped up. Actually, you know what? I forgot about this. You know what? We'll go through the news. I'm going to open this box first. I'm not sure what they sent me. I love doing these unboxings with you guys. So who is this from? This is from, Buzzard Roost. Let's see what Buzzard Roost sent over. I do like what Buzzard Roost is doing. Now, I was not a fan of the Buzzard Roost. What did they send me last time? It was like a French oak something. It wasn't good. I said it wasn't good. I appreciate them sending me the samples, but I didn't like it. All right, let's see what they sent me here. All right. All right, Buzzard's Roost is back. This is the signature. Oh, we got a double oak. This is their signature double oak straight bourbon whiskey. 100. Is that 106 or 100? 100 proof. Right at 100 proof. There we go. All right, we got another double oak. I'm always game to try new double oaked. Love double oak bourbons. Probably the only finish I like more on bourbons more than rye. Double oak. All right. Let's do this. JG says IBN from the Dark Arts is the new Belle Meade. So many finishes. I love it. The KBF blend by Buzzard's Roost was really good. That's the thing I found with, like, I love their Char 1 bourbon. I think it's really different, really good, really unique. Their French oak rye, I think, is delicious. But they seem to be pretty hit and miss. A lot of the stuff that they do can be either really good or just kind of, I don't know if I want to buy a whole bottle of that. We have 422 people in the chat. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in tonight. As I'm running on fumes right now, but we're powering through. So I really appreciate you guys chilling out with me tonight. Definitely hit that like button if you can. Really appreciate it. Jason, real talk. How many times can you say you don't like a product before the distillery stops sending you media samples bottles? It's a good question, Terrence. Well, I could say this with Old Forester. It took 3 years. I shit on their birthday bourbon 3 years in a row, and then they just stopped sending me samples. So, yep. Well, it's interesting too, because I have a great relationship with Jack Daniels. They're owned by Brown-Forman. So maybe it's not so much Brown-Forman, it's Old Forester. Old Forester sent me samples of their birthday bourbon 3 years in a row, and it just stopped because I thought they were wildly overpriced and overhyped for what I tasted. And I'm like, this is not a bourbon, and I'm waiting online for like a week for. It's ridiculous. So, yep. Love me some Joseph Mann cigar blend with a tasty cigar, says Scott Golson. Absolutely. Yeah, the Old Forester is the one that I don't get samples from anymore. I would love to get samples of their birthday bourbons and still taste it, but I am generally just not impressed with them. So I think they were like, well, we can't send 3 years in a row. He's kind of shit on it, so we're not going to send it to him anymore. All right. Double oak bourbons needs a little time to open up, so let's do that. And in the meantime, honesty is not always the best policy. Well, I'm always going to be honest, so I'm not gonna kowtow for anybody. Good. Oh, I'm sorry. Waiting on the line. You're not missing anything, Elvar. Nick Foles. I don't know if I would call it trash. I just think that it's not always worth the hype, unfortunately. Appreciate that, Jason. Love the honest reviews, regardless who sends samples. Birthday bourbon is so disappointing, like most birthdays, says Todd Ritter. 2024 was one of the better ones in a bit. I did hear that, Devin. Unfortunately, I was supposed to get a bottle of that, but that never happened. And then I was supposed to get a sample of it, and then that never happened. So I didn't get a chance to taste it. So instead of improving birthday bourbon, they just removed press samples. Well, at least to me, they did. Birthday bourbon isn't very different from their 100 proof bourbon anymore. One of the reasons I kept watching your channel, Honest Reviews, I'm starting to realize I'm not that big a fan of double oak bourbons or bourbons where I get a lot of oak. Hey, that's so Mauricio, so you must be really looking forward to that Knob Creek 21 year. I'm just messing with you, man. Okay. Let's go through a couple of stories. Let's give a quick update here from Buffalo Trace. Buffalo Trace has just given a big update about their about like what's going on over there. I could see that overhead shot. It was pretty drastic what happened there. Floodwaters peaked nearly a week ago, left parts of the historic bourbon distillery underwater. Cleanup crews have now removed more than 75% of the flood-related debris and damage. Power has been restored to key areas, allowing both the main bottling hall and Blanton's bottling hall to resume production. Now, recovery work is still continuing, with Buffalo Trace reopened to visitors just this past Monday. It's a modified visitor experience, which includes their small pop-up retail space in the Freehouse building and outdoor tastings under a canopy. Access is limited to those with existing tour reservations. Walk-ins are not allowed at this time, and additional reservation slots may be released based on capacity as we go through the weeks here and days. At this time, regular tours remain suspended. The distillery has not revealed a timeline for full reopening, but says updates will follow as conditions approve. So, cheers to all the hard workers at Buffalo Trace that helped get that place back up and running. It's a staple on the Bourbon Trail. It's a place people love to go. And, nobody wants to see any, distillery go underwater like that, both literally or figuratively. So really good to see Buffalo Trace getting back on its feet and tours starting to resume. I'm sure there's still a lot of cleanup to do, but for any of you those out there watching that have, maybe helped with the cleanup efforts, we thank you. So, all right, next up. Let's see. Oh, this one. Speaking of, distilleries holding back a bit and maybe not making as much whiskey, Heaven Hill just announced they began production and filled its first barrel at the new Heaven Hill Springs Distillery on Monday, bringing bourbon production back to Bardstown, Kentucky, nearly 30 years after a fire destroyed the original plant. So this $200 million facility marks a major step for the company, which says it now holds the title of the world's largest independent bourbon producer. The new distillery will start with an annual capacity of 150,000 barrels, or about 10 million proof gallons, roughly 1/3 the output of Heaven Hill's Bernheim distillery in Louisville. The site has room to expand up to 450,000 barrels a year. For the first time since 1996, Heaven Hill will propagate live yeast in-house, giving it more control over flavor and consistency across batches. To mark the milestone, longtime Heaven Hill distiller Charlie Downs returned as honorary master distiller. Downs began his career at the original Bardstown site in the 1970s and is the only employee in the company's history to work at all 4 of its distillery locations. The distillery is set to be fully completed in September, ahead of Heaven Hill's 90th anniversary on December 13th. Now, why should we pay attention to the 90th anniversary? Because you damn know well, or you know damn well. Yeah, let me switch that up. You know damn well there's going to be some crazy 90th anniversary release that's going to happen. You know it's coming. Anytime there's an anniversary, it's coming. So, yeah. Hey, what's up, Bourbon Coach? Yeah, dude. We're going to have a 90th anniversary bottling that's going to cost $9 million. That's happening. 90-year-old bourbon saying maybe. Yeah, listen, if they just did this, if they just bring back that bottle and bond 4-year at $20, I think the world would rejoice. Yeah, it might be Heaven Hill Heritage 90-year bourbon, or maybe some Old Fitz or Heritage 90th anniversary. There's going to be some sort of a celebratory limited release. We just don't know what it is yet. And I don't know anything. I just know from, tracking this business for so long that when there's an anniversary to be celebrated, you damn well know that we're going to have a bottle to go along with it that people are going to line up, chase, and buy for $1 million. Pull another vat of that VVS from last year out. Heaven Hill 90-year pacing Jimmy Russell's edition. That's pretty good whiskey habit. Okay, let's go to the next story. Yes, Star Hill Farms. We just talked about this not too long ago. Star Hill Farms. That is basically the Star Hill Farms is the Maker's Mark farm name, and they just dropped its first non-bourbon American wheat whiskey. We talked about this a little bit a couple weeks ago. On Tuesday, Maker's Mark surprised bourbon fans across the country with the debut of Star Hill Farms wheat whiskey, the distiller's first new mash bill and first wheat whiskey ever. It's promised to be the inaugural release in an annual series, each iteration of which will explore differences in soil, wheat, water, and wood in years to come. Unlike standard Maker's Mark, there isn't a smidge of corn anywhere in the bottle. Instead, the distiller has opted for a blend of 7 and 8 year old wheat whiskeys, one made from 70% soft red winter wheat and 30% malted barley, and the other from 100% malted soft red winter wheat. Maker's Mark Master Distiller says to expect aromas of buttery caramel, golden raisins, and gingerbread, followed by a bright palette of honey toffee, chocolate-covered cherries, and a hint of apple pie spice. The expression is bottled at cask strength. Way to go, Makers, cask strength, and is slated to hit shelves by mid-May at a suggested retail price of $100. Now, I do believe that they dropped some of these at the gift shop pretty recently. And this was something that when we talked about, it wasn't supposed to come out probably to the end of the year. So really surprised that we're seeing this right now all of a sudden. I guess they thought it was ready to go. Cheers to Maker's Mark. I've been saying it for months. Do something different. Now, whether people end up liking this wheat whiskey or not, I'm just glad they're doing something different, to be honest. So cheers to them for flipping the script a little bit, I wouldn't say it's flipping the script. If you're going to expect them to do something different, a wheat whiskey is a little bit, it's outside the box, but kind of pressed up against the box, kind of knocking on the box a little bit. You know what I mean? It's not completely outside the box. You're kind of pressed up against it. But yeah, at least it's cask strength, which is a plus. And at least it's got a good age to it. 7, 8 years old. That's a great age for a wheat whiskey. We'll see how it tastes. Ham turkey. I think that was the other bourbon that they were working on, was going to be right at the end of the decade with their, what is it called? With that special corn that they were talking about. So the real, it's going to be dipped in wax. Come on. It's going to be dipped in wax. Okay. And before we dive into this double oak, let's go through some of the labels that we saw on the TTB. First, we saw the Knob Creek 21. We talked about this extensively already, but if anyone is just tuning in now, Knob Creek has just released this on the TTB, a 21 age year bourbon, and it's going to be 100 proof. People have been kind of back and forth about this release because they think it could be a little bit too oaky. People are upset that the proof is only 100, and people just want to be upset. And they think that the price is going to be about $250, maybe to $260 for this bottle. Time will tell, but it's going to be a bottle a lot of people are going to want to taste regardless. But if you don't like a lot of oak, this is probably going to be one that's going to have a good oak profile too, but we'll see. A couple more curious labels that hit the TTB. Blade and Bow. Speaking of high age statements, look at this. 30 years. A 30-year cask strength Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey. Now, there's 3 different labels here. There's this one, which is a single barrel aged 30 years. You have this one, which is just a cask strength. And then there was another one too, I believe. I think it was a blue label. Let me see if I still have that one. This one might be it. And then we have, this one. Now this is the, if the other 2 weren't enough, now this is a limited release. So you have a blue label 30-year limited release at 54.5% ABV. Then you have a single barrel, and then you have a cask strength version. Now, if you look at the back of the label, it says bottled by 5 Keys Bottling Company, Bardstown, Kentucky. We have no idea where these whiskeys are coming from. But, chances are, I have no idea where these could be coming from. And then there's the actual logo that you'll see it. This isn't going to be Stitzel-Weller stuff. If anything, they might do that Solara thing where they drop 1 or 2 drops of it in this whiskey. But let it be known, this is not going to be Stitzel-Weller whiskey. So as far as this 30-year stuff, not really sure what this is. I'm sure it's going to come with a very hefty box, I would think. The regular Blade and Bow isn't even that good. Yeah, I don't know where it's going to be. Who do these guys think that has the money to buy these bottles? Are Elon and Bezos into bourbon? Were they aged in Kentucky cave somewhere? I don't know. I mean, Aaron, yeah, could be Bernheim. Hey, World's Worst Bourbon Challenge here. What's up? Can we get a Blade & Bow 30-year Amburana finished? Oh, I just threw up on my mouth a little bit from that one. The ABV placeholder has me really confused when I saw it. No way it's going to be Hazmat at 30 years old. Yeah, I think that's a placeholder. Yeah, 83% ABV. You guys saw that? Maybe leftover from Orphan Socks. This is where I think it's coming from. I think because Diageo's involved, I think it's going to be some sort of orphan barrel stocks that they have. So it could be from anywhere. Who knows where it's going to be from? But yep, they blended 2 barrels of 15-year Buffalo Terry and called it a 30-year single barrel. It's the classic. We found these dusty barrels aged in the corner. Oh yeah, yep. There was 0 SW stocks at Stitzel-Weller when Diageo started Blade & Bow, I think. Yeah, there wasn't anything, but, you know, they do that a little bit of drops. But I think people see 30 years, not knowing the history, they're going to think it could be Stitzel-Weller stuff, but it's not. So, yeah, we'll see what happens with those. Interesting releases. The next Remus Reserve has been released, and it looks like they bumped up the proof again. So what was it last year? 101 proof? Now it looks like it's 104. And here's a close-up of the blend. A 2015 bourbon. So that's 10 years. That looks like the youngest bourbon in the blend. 11-year at 2014. Another 10-year at 2015. And then you have a 2006 in there. That's only 7% of the bourbon. So that is what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What is that? That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, what age is that? Trying to do mathing. 4. So that's 14. That's 19-year-old bourbon. If I'm doing that math correctly. So 2006 would be 19-year-old bourbon, 7% of the blend. Interesting. So, yeah, 19. Thank you guys for doing the math for me. I'm kind of into that. Yeah, bourbon Remus 8 was legit good. Yeah, I don't think people gave it enough credit. I think Remus 8 was actually very good for the price point. Loved it. I know it's $100. It's a little too much for people maybe to spend these days, but I like it. Oh yeah, I got jet lag, Jay. I'm running on fumes, dude. I'm tired, but we're powering through. Oh yeah, 2005 would be 20. Make it easy. Yeah, I'm sitting here with my fingers like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I don't understand how to do the math. Numbers are hard, especially when you're on like 5 hours sleep. Oh my god. All right, let me go back here. All right, yeah. So there you go. 19-year, 10-year, and 9-year in the blend. I'm sorry, 10-year and 11-year. 10-year, 11-year, and 19-year in this blend. So a little bit of an uptick, like I said, in the proof, going up to 104. I dig it. Bardstown Bourbon Company is releasing another Ferrand, blend of straight whiskeys finished in cognac casks. Cognac, huge fan of cognac finished whiskeys. The Ferrand, the previous release, I wasn't too crazy about it. I'm hoping this year will be better. Here's a little bit of a look at the blend components. You have some 9-year Kentucky, 10-year Kentucky, 10% Kentucky, and then 7% Bardstown Bourbon Company. Their 6-year 95.5 in that as well. So you have some Kentucky bourbon. So it's kind of a Burai blend finished in the cognac cask. So yeah, interested in trying that. Let's see, 74, 18.8. That looks like maybe Barton possibly. Then you have maybe some Beamish in there. Oh no, 75, 13, 12. That's the 12-year turkey. 78, 13, 9. 78, 13, 9 could be the Beam. And then 74, 18, 8, I think is Barton. So I think those are the 3 Kentucky components. And then Bardstown Bourbon Company with their own stuff is a 95.5. So interesting stuff. Okay. Angel's Envy. Looks like they're jumping into the distillery series arena, just like Jack Daniels does with their distillery series, just like Old Forester does with their 117 series. These, I'm now listen, I'm just reading the tea leaves here. I don't know for sure, but it looks like these are going to be distillery only releases, hence being called distillery series. I don't think that's going out on a limb too much. But it looks like they have a few different ones here. 2-grain bourbon, Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey. And they also have this peated cask rye, Kentucky straight rye whiskey, finished in Scotch barrels. Again, peated bourbon is something I don't think a lot of people want, but we keep seeing it. I know some people want it, some people like that, but I don't know. All this crossing over, just let peat live with the Scotch. Leave it, get it away from the bourbon. just saying. Just when you thought Blue Run was done, they're coming out with Glimmer, a Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey finished in gin barrels. So Blue Run, which has been pretty silent for a long time, they're coming out with Glimmer, a glimmer of hope, maybe, which might be the right name for this bottle. Barrel bourbon, full proof, coming in at 11 years old, 123 proof for this one. Kentucky 11 and 20 years old, Indiana 16 and 18, Tennessee 16 and 17. This I'm very interested in trying. 123 proof, 11 year, and that's the lowest in the blend. Now, I took a picture of this the back label so you could see the ages of whiskeys that are in here. 11, 20, 16, 18, 16, 17. I know what everybody's thinking. There's too much of that old Dickel in it. I get it. But if anyone's going to blend that out a little bit and do a good job with it, it's going to be barrel bourbon. So we'll see what happens. I'm looking forward to trying that one. So that's it. A lot to look, and we'll see what happens. That barrel will be incredible. So Glimmer, go Glimmer yourself. Blue Run Glimmer, kill me now. It's a glimmer of something, but why? I feel like rye would be better in gin barrels. Blue Run isn't just done, man. Why you be thinking that? Because Aaron, they're done. Peated bourbon. It was peated rye, not bourbon. Oh, was it a peated? Oh, it was a peated rye. Still leave the peated back home. Those black labels are so limited. I don't see any reviews on them. I don't think it's out yet, but yeah, get those tax refunds ready. What's the status of barrel? Rumors they were closing went away pretty fast. Did they ever address them? No, they didn't, because they didn't have to. They were never selling. I think they were consolidating a bit, like consolidating inventory and stuff like that, but I don't think they were ever going to go anywhere. Blue Run was done before it even started. Yeah, Aaron, I just believe Blue Run is done because what I predicted, I think, is what happened. The guys that got in on it and wanted to start Blue Run decided to, they said, oh, we're in it. We're going to be in here for the long haul. As soon as Coors bought them, they were gone. We don't hear from them anymore. They're probably not involved anymore. There has been no significant releases coming from them anymore. Is their distillery even going to be built? Probably not. But we have the Glimmer of Hope bottle. So what's up? What's up, Jared Katner? Barrel just seems to kill off Stellum. Yeah, I think they kind of had to kill off Stellum. I think they tried to use Stellum as a budget type of release, half the price of their regular releases. But Stellum, they started making premium Stellums that were $100 and up, which was kind of eating into their regular barrel. Like, I never understood the whole Stellum thing. If they just left Stellum at like $40 or $50 and had that out in the market as like really good blends for the prices, I think that would have been fine. I think they just did too much to make Stellum more interesting, and it just ate into their other releases. We just had an Arizona specific Blue Run single barrel with an Arizona flag butterfly, says Aaron C. Yeah, Aaron, yeah, they're still around, but I just don't think that they're doing anything significant right now. We'll see. Hey, I could be proved wrong, but like I said, the people that got into Blue Run, the guys that started it, acted like they were God's gift to whiskey, and that even if it sells, they're going to be in it for the long haul, and that's not what we've seen. They basically sold it, and they're gone. We haven't heard anything from them, so that's all it is. John Hung Lee asked, MHC special release 2024 or Russell's 15? Oh, that's tough. Should have named it Mullets. John Hung. So John Lee, that's it'll be Russell's 15 for me. But if you don't like heavier oak, you like a sweeter type of whiskey, then go with the Joseph Magnet. Oh, I'm sorry, the Murray Hill Club. That would be my advice. But it'll be Russell's 15 all day. Russell's 15 was easily the best whiskey last year. Easily. So many bourbon brands just don't know good marketing with all their lines. Looking at you, Beam. Yep. Was seeing Stella and Black Label release prices around 140 last year. Yeah, I think that's what happened. Like they just did too much with the Stellum stuff. Just stick to what you're good at. They should have just left Stellum, like I said, at $50 bottle. All right, let's try this Buzzard's Roost, and then we'll get into the head-to-head with. Holy crap! It's 10:30 already with Dark Arts. Been yapping too much tonight. You guys are asking good questions though. All right. So this isn't quite a deep, rich double oak profile. It's a little bit lighter. The oak is there. This is a little bit more of a heavy cinnamon punch I get here. Get a little bit of a tannic effect. A little bit of that oak tannin is here. Let's give it a try. Yeah, this is pretty tannic. It definitely has that oak spice to it. Not a bad way. But generally, when you hear double oaked, you want a little bit more sweet. This one just got a little bit more tannic, I think. Now it's getting sweeter. Oh, that was good. Speaking of barrel, this is also one of my new favorite double O products, which is the Barrel Craft Spirits Foundation Double Barrel. Let's get this in the glass and do a little comparison here. I'm actually a big fan of this bottle. For $50, this Barrel Foundation, if you like double oaks, this is actually really nice. So the barrel on the nose is actually a little darker and a little sweeter. It doesn't have as much spice to it as the Buzzard's Roost does. The Buzzard's Roost, I'm definitely picking up some baking spice, allspice. Again, a little bit of like a cinnamon red hot. I'm getting in here. But that oak tan, the oak tannins it has is pretty strong. Yeah, a lot of spice for double oaked. Oh man, but the barrel is the move. Oh my gosh. When you drink this off of that Buzzard Roost, this just becomes chocolatey candy goodness. It's really good. A little bit of a pecan, like a praline type of note in this I'm picking up now. Yeah, the barrel all day long. I think with double oak, sometimes you're either gonna get a sweeter profile and oakier profile. But for this one in particular, the Buzzard Roost, if you like spice, baking spice, cinnamon heavy, then the Buzzard Roost double oaked will be for you. It's got a lot of spice to it for me. It's got some sweetness too, but it definitely brings a lot of baking spice. I'm actually picking up a little bit of a ginger snap cookie in there too, which is good. Yeah, ginger snap cookie, cinnamon spice, and all that the oak tannins on the back end. This is pretty good. I don't mind it. I would like to actually pick up a bottle of this and just see how it opens up. Because it's a sample, you just don't know if it's going to actually get sweeter over time, which is generally, for me at least, what double oaks do usually. They'll get sweeter as they open up a little bit. Or they'll just go flat and get a little bit more woody, but we'll see. But this one actually has a really nice finish to it. The barrel foundation double oaked one or the double barrel, I should say, that has just gotten sweeter over time. This is kind of a spicy meatball, but I like it. Get to the 13th century. I'm trying to. You know what? Yeah, let me crack open one of the 13th centuries here, just because. So I have the rye, I have the American single malt, and I have the, and then I have this. This is their straight bourbon whiskey, barrel proof. This one comes in at 30-gallon barrels, aged in new char 2, 3, 4, and 5 American white oak, 30-gallon barrels. This is the newest blends from the folks over at 13th Century. I've been wanting to try these. I definitely wanted to try at least one of these tonight, so I'm gonna try this now, and then we'll get to the competition here. All right. Now, proof on this. This is a really nice color. Is this thing still working? Nope. No, my bottle cam went dead because I didn't get a chance to charge it. But I don't know if you guys know this with these bottles. I don't know if you'll be able to see this, but do you see inside? If I hold it up to the light, no, you're not going to see that. But well, let me try this. First of all, let me get my fingerprints off the bottle. I'm going to try to shine a light through here. Do you guys see the still, the glass still that's in the middle of the bottle? It's so freaking cool. You guys see that? So this is a custom blown glass, and there's actually a glass still. Now the bottom of the bottle has a giant hole in it, but in the actual middle of the bottle is a whiskey still. It's one of the coolest bottles ever. Love it. So this is their straight bourbon whiskey, barrel proof. This one comes in at 67.5% ABV. 67.5. So that's pretty. What is that? 134. I was able to do that math pretty quick. Jeez, I don't know what happened earlier. Is that the? Yeah, let's say I got the 13th Century Hazmat Cigar Blend. Can't wait, says Aaron C. Was wondering what the hell that was when my hand went up there. It says Natural Mac. Yeah, that's what she said. Okay. Ooh. This is pretty interesting. There's a lot going on in here. I'm getting not only like toasted marshmallow, but I'm also picking up a good amount of oak here. And I think those different char levels are putting in there. Pecans. Man, cinnamon glazed pecans on this. A little bit of maple, kind of a maple syrup vibe here. Yes, that's right. ADHD whiskey, 13th Century, is out of Colorado. And Paul is he's the kind of the man behind it, and he's been in contact with me, sending me these samples and these bottles, and I definitely want to have Paul on at some point soon. So Paul, if you're watching, I'll definitely email you, and I would love to go through all of these with you. But I definitely wanted to get into the bourbon here. Smoke Eye Hill is MGP, Asian Colorado. Yes, it is. I blinded my hazmat of this, and it beat Stag Jr. in a blind. Wow. So the prices on these, man, I don't remember. Let me see if I could find it in the email here. Let's go here, 13th. Go to the bottom here. I sent you the attached. Okay. It doesn't really say too much. There's 2 attachments here. What is this? Okay, that's the picture of the distillery. These are the bottles. Okay. Okay. All right. I don't have like pricing options on here, but I think they're I would imagine I think these were around 120 bucks, I think. Oh man, the nose on this is fantastic. Yeah, maple, pecan, definitely some oak. A little bit of a sharpness to it too. There's a little bit of a I'm not going to say youthful characteristic, but that could be what it is. A little bit of a youthy punch to it, but that could be that 30-gallon barrel where things get a little bit sharp. Oh, holy shit. Wow. Oh, wow. Did not expect that at all. Dude, this thing takes you for a ride. So, man, I need to unpack this a little bit. Mm, very, very sweet up front. Like vanilla icing sweet. Buttercream frosting sweet. There's a like a little punch of a dark fruit that I really like. It almost comes off like Starburst candy a little bit. It's like that fruit forward and sweet to me. It's like if you took all the Starburst candies and like mushed them together, just the standard pack, and then just like popped it in your mouth. You get sweet. There's a tartness to it. There's a sugary sweetness to it. Like from the nose, that's not what I expected on the palate. I thought the nose, and I do think there's like a nice maple brown sugar note that it has on the palate. But wow, no, this is not the hazmat. All right, so man, the friggin' back of the palate is pure like Skittles and Starburst. It's so candy. I could see why this could be another Colorado, you know, Smoke Eye Hill slash going against Stag Junior a little bit for sure. Um, the toast that I tried made me think of warm dark cherry cough drops, says Rich Jump. Yeah, Rich, I feel like I am getting a cherry in here, but it's not like a black cherry or a dark cherry. It's more of a like a maraschino cherry. It's brighter. Um, man, yeah, I wouldn't say it's just GTS killer, Nathan, because there still is a youthfulness to this that I can like now, like when I bring it to my nose, like I'm getting some young bourbon esque traits in here. However, gosh, I'm getting this thing is all over the place. I'm getting like toasted coconut in it now. God, fruity pebble cereal. This thing is nuts. Yeah, it's got a little bit of a youthful bitterness on it, but again, I tend to get that with 30-gallon barrels sometimes. It just pulls in some of the sour notes and the bitterness from the smaller oak barrels. So I do get that here, like very, very slightly. But this has a ton of sugar sweetness to it. Yeah, 13th century versus Smoke Eye Double Bass. Yeah, Nathan, you read my mind. Like that could be a really interesting back and forth, or even let's throw Stag in the mix and see what happens. But yeah, this is a very interesting blend, different char levels kind of contributing to the mix. This is really good. I like it. What's up, Fritzy? So I would keep an eye out for 13th century guys. This is good stuff. It's different in a good way. It's not there could be different bad ways, but this is different in a good way. That sweetness that it has is so heavy. It's really nice. Okay. All right, let's see which blend I like better here. I'm gonna have to have some water here before I taste these. So again, for those of you guys that do not know, I almost said donut because I'm hungry. Um, Dark Arts, the Dark Arts Whiskey House, located in Lexington, sent out these packages to a bunch of influencers and writers and stuff. And basically, it's Bourbon Night made their own Mizunora. I'm sorry, Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey Blend finished with toasted Mizunora oak staves. So they did both of these. And basically, it's Bourbon Night did a blend, and the Bourbon Junkies did a blend. And they sent both of the bottles and said, hey, try them out, see which one you like better. And then whichever one you like, tag it on social media. So once I taste these tonight, I'm going to, I'll post it on my Instagram. But I'm just curious to see what the differences are going to be here. I think we all know who will win this, says Kenneth Clark. I don't know. We'll see. Has anyone else seen the 20-year hazmat copper and cast they just announced? Some Found North type shit, says Kyle Taylor. Haven't seen that one yet. Are you sure it's not that all this 20-year Dickel that's been going around? It's a lot of 20-year Tennessee whiskey from George Dickel that's been out there in the universe. All right. I didn't have anyone here to set this up blind for me, guys, so I'm just going to do a straight-up comparison, and we'll see which one I like better. All right. Now, once we pick one, we're going to scan the details, and we'll find out what Chad and Sarah versus Dan and Sean did here. So we'll see. And Mizunora could be really funny. You could be the best blender on earth, but Mizunora is a whole different beast. Remember, Mizunora casks they're really different. Mizunora can Japanese oak doesn't grow straight up. It grows in like these weird formations. It's very porous. So to make casks out of it are extremely expensive. I believe one Mizunora barrel can cost you about $3,300 for one Mizunora cask. They're very expensive. To make a cask, it's labor intensive. So it's not very easy to age anything with Mizunora. However, the way that they did with the toasted staves, it might be an easier way to get the flavor of Mizunora in the whiskey without having to, grab a whole barrel. So, so this one on my right, this one belongs to it's Bourbon Night, and this one on my left belongs to the Bourbon Junkies. So let's dive in and see what we get here. Let's see who wins it for me tonight. This should be interesting. Very similar to the Vantage. Yep. When we were at Driftless for the pick, they had a Mizunora barrel in the warehouse. Justin said it was $5K for that cask from Independent. Oh, yeah, $5K? Yeah. It's pretty wild how much those casks are. If you've ever looked up Mizunora tree and you see like the formation, it's a crazy looking tree. It's kind of beautiful and ugly at the same time, kind of like a bulldog. It just has like these crazy shapes to it, and you could see why it would be a pain in the ass to make a barrel out of it. So, all right. Let's go to I'll try the It's Bourbon Night one first. This is the one on my right? It's Bourbon Night. Yeah. Okay. Let's see what we get with this. Here we go. See which one I prefer. Oh man, you definitely get the Mizunora. So a note that I get in Mizunora a lot is sandalwood, and this is definitely bringing some sandalwood. Man, I broke out the ice glasses for this. Everybody that wants to know, these are the ice glasses, EISCH. These are really, really amazing nosing glasses, but they're expensive. They're like $50 a piece. So I get the sandalwood here, but I'm also getting a lot of bright, like getting not stone fruit, but apple, pears. Yeah, definitely apples and pears. A little bit of green melon, I think I'm picking up here too. Very, very fruit forward. Man, that smells fantastic. Man, the pear note in the melon is actually really, really prevalent. like the poached pears when when you would poach pears and cinnamon. But that sandalwood note is very strong as well. All right, let's go to the Junkies one. See if it's pretty different. Oh, the Junkies one is very different. This one's even sweeter on the nose for the Junkies. Not getting as much sandalwood. I'll tell you what, I like the nose on the Junkies one better. It's darker, a little sweeter. I feel like the apple and pear there as well, but it just brings it to like it's almost like they've been cooked down into like apple or like a pear pie. Like it's just everything is just kind of cooked down on the Junkies one. Getting a nice little burst of like coconut here, like almond joy, little chocolate coconut. Oh man. Yeah, as far as the nose goes, I like the Junkies one better. The Junkies just have it's a richer profile here. You hurt Lily's feelings with that bulldog comment. Hey man, I could say that because I had, EJ, I had a bulldog for 14 years and he was so beautiful and yet a little ugly at the same time, but I loved him. You made Lily sad. Lily's beautiful. Yeah, the nose on the Junkies one is definitely more my speed. Just a little dark and richer. All right, let's try the It's Bourbon Night one on the palate, see what we get. Much like the palate, the Bourbon Night it's honey, it's pear, it's apple. A lot of the same things I'm getting on the palate as well. I'm getting like that nice like that green melon type of note on there. It's good. Little citrus note in there too. That's kind of nice. They didn't see that coming. Um, mm. There's a nice little pop of like age here on the back end. Now again, I don't know exactly what the ages are in the blends. We'll find out here, but the on the palate, this one is giving a nice indication of age here. A little bit of leather bound books on the back end. I kind of dig that one. Yeah, I gotta say, I still watch like bulldog videos, and I get like it's like I want to get another bulldog at some point, but I don't know. Maybe if things slow down for me a little bit, I'll get another bulldog eventually. I would love another bulldog. Virginia Rose, I did the Malort shot makeup like 2 weeks ago. You missed it. I'm not doing it again. It's very fruit forward. It's sweet. Again, apple, leather, not leather, apple, pear, a little bit of an aged leather on the back end of it. Some really great sweet notes to it. A little bit of honey in the middle. I still get that sandalwood. It's very, very balanced on the It's Bourbon Night blend. All right, let's go to the Junkies blend now. No blueberries. Those dogs are high maintenance. I know John, but I lived with a bulldog for 14 years and I did not mind doing the maintenance. He was my baby. Max. His name is Maximus. All right, let's try the Junkies one here. So the Junkies one has more. You could always come visit Lily. Yeah, I might have to. I'll kidnap that little dog. Oh my god, I love that. I love Lily. Um, The Junkies one is definitely heavier on the wood spice. So not so much sandalwood, but I get, yeah, there's some definite like tannic notes here. A little bit of a drying aspect on the Junkies one as well. I feel like I get the apple in the Junkies one as well, but not nearly as much as I do in the It's Bourbon Night one. And I'm getting another sip of that. There's a nuttiness too to the Junkies one that I pick up a little bit. Maybe not so much nuttiness. Maybe it's more of like an almond, like a sugary sweet almond type of profile I get. But there's also a what's the word I'm looking for here? I mean, maybe it's sandalwood as well. There's almost like a cologne or like candle-esque type of flavor I'm picking up here. Like the aroma and the scents that are coming off of it on the it just it's crazy. Yeah, I just think it's like it's like an antique wood note that I'm getting. A little bit of a varnish, but sweet. The coconut is a little bit prevalent here too on the palate. It's interesting because they're both completely different to me. They use the same finish, but they're really different. Um, Man, which one do I like more? I like the Junkies, obviously on the nose. I already said that, but palate wise, it's close. I think the Junkies have it on viscosity too. Whiskey nose. But the It's Bourbon Night blend, I think, is in better balance because you get sweet, fruity, spice. You get like that woodiness that you get from Mizunara, and then it ends with like this nice, like aged, almost like leather note that you get on the back end. I think the It's Bourbon Night one actually has a better balance to it versus the Junkies blend, but the Junkies blend has the way better nose. I could nose this glass all day. And more orange is actually coming out of the Junkies blend now, which I don't know where that's coming from. Yeah, the Junkies one has a little bit of like a sourness on the back end too, like a sour orange note that's starting to come to the forefront. So, nose on the Junkies, palate I think goes to It's Bourbon Night, but I think the finish is better on the Junkies one. So, kind of a little bit of a mixed bag here. So, I'm curious what we got here for the. Let's see if this works. All this does is take me to their channel. I want to know the blend details. I thought this would tell me the blend details. I don't want to. I know how to get to their channel. The hell? It's Bourbon Night's custom blend. It just takes me to their channel. Is that what happens with the Junkies one too? Come on, get it. Yeah, it just takes me to their channel. Okay. Probably high rye MGP. Yeah, I'm guessing it's high rye MGP. When I got that orange note in the Junkies one, I feel like there's probably some MGP in there. Yeah. It's spicy. It's more orangey. The coconut is there. I do think it still has like that heavy sandalwoody type of note to it, but it's not coming across like fully sandalwood. There's just like maybe it's like a floral quality. It's like a floral aspect I'm picking up on it. Maybe it's more like an orange blossom honey type thing I'm picking up on the Junkies one, along with that coconut and that tannic aspect that it has. But the It's Bourbon Night one is a more balanced. I think it just has more layers to it that you could taste. While the Junkies blend, I think, is a little bit maybe 3-4 notes. The It's Bourbon Night one, I think, has more going on. But the Junkies one definitely wins it for me on the nose. It's more inviting on the nose versus the It's Bourbon Night one. So pretty cool competition. Now, I don't know if these are still around in Kentucky somewhere, but if you like that really nice, like orange spice, golden blossom honey type of flavor profile, a little bit more kick to it and punch, then the Junkies blend is what you're going to want to go with. If you want to taste more like rich fruit flavors, a little bit more balanced, less kick you in the mouth a little bit, I think, then that's what what It's Bourbon Night blended here. So, but great job, guys. Bourbon Night, Bourbon Junkies, two of the biggest channels on YouTube going head to head. I love stuff like this. Excuse me. Detective Jason is on the case. Jason, blend them together for the It's Bourbon Junkies Night Dram. Jason, are you going to do a pick with Dark Arts? Yes, eventually, Kenneth. So let me get here. Let's blend the blends. And we'll sign off for tonight because I'm about to go to sleep. All right, guys. Thanks so much for hanging out tonight. I promise next week we'll I think next week what I wanted to do is take all the blood oats and throw them in a big blind, because when I was cleaning out my whiskey room, I didn't realize how many blood oats I actually have. So I want to throw them all in a blind and see which one wins out. So I might do that next week, a big old blood oath brouhaha, if you will. And if we get any more samples or whiskeys next week to try, we'll do that. And with that said, as I always say, it's not about the whiskey, it's the people you share it with. Guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me tonight. It was good to come back from the trip and be able to go live tonight. So I'm glad we were able to do it. And if you haven't yet, hit the like button before you head out. Hit the subscribe button as we get closer to 100,000 subscribers. Love all you guys, and we'll see you right here next week. Cheers, folks.